Anderson, and I'm going to do a speech today on celiac disease. And I want you guys to start by telling me items that you've ate today.
Honey Bunches of Oats.
Almonds.
Oats with almonds. Chicken.
Fish smash.
Fish sticks.
McDonald's.
Mashed potatoes. McDonald's. What at McDonald's?
Quarter pounder.
Quarter pounder. What else, guys?
Chicken nuggets. Pulled pork.
With the barbecue sauce? Okay.
Cinnamon
rolls. Okay. Out of all of those things, you could have the chicken if it was plain, not breaded. Your barbecue sauce, the only kind out there on the market is Cookies barbecue sauce, and actually it's the original. Other things, oats is a negative. Unless you go to, especially if you're just going to a store, a regular store, and you want a box of cereal, the only type of cereal that I found on the market that you can go to your local, like No Frills, and get is Trix. Trix is gluten-free, and that, it doesn't say gluten-free on the box. Actually read through the ingredients, and it's made of all corn products. So what is celiac disease? It is an autoimmune disease of the small intestine where when you consume gluten products, which are wheat, oats, barley, and rye, and it's the protein found in those products, it damages the lining of the small intestine and causes symptoms such as diarrhea, weight loss, failure to thrive. And I found out about this kind of the most difficult way. My son who is 4 now, was 10 months old when he got diagnosed, and his symptoms started at the age of 4 months old, literally with the first natural food product that he had, minus breast milk. Once he started eating, he got a rash across his face and diarrhea, up to 12 plus stools a day. And then the pediatrician at the time, I don't think had ever heard of celiac disease and could not tell me what was wrong with him, literally. So I did the research myself and then asked for a referral to a GI doctor. And at 10 months old, he had biopsies of his small intestine, because that is the only true definitive way to diagnose celiac disease. And it is able to show basically the damage to the intestine. And it's confusing because there is blood work that can be done, but it's not definitive. It can be off, so it's just not the way to go. And another thing that kind of makes it hard is if they just do a scope, if you have a lactose intolerance, that same part of the intestine will be damaged too, so sometimes it's misdiagnosed as a lactose intolerance versus the celiac disease. And in playing with that, lactose intolerance is actually hand in hand with celiac disease too, so most often people with celiac disease suffer from both things, and my son happens to be one of the lucky that suffer from lactose intolerance and celiac disease. So when we go out to the grocery store, it is now a task. We have to read every ingredient on a box of whatever it is, and it is a hidden ingredient. It is found in stuff that you couldn't even imagine. It's the thickening agent in gravies. It's out there everywhere. Most local food chains now have, like grocery food chains, have a section of gluten-free products. The one local here is frozen foods. They have waffles and bread. And then you have your large food chains like Whole Foods that has a huge selection where you can go and get cake mixes and stuff like that. I said before, the symptoms were loose stools, failure to thrive, not able to gain weight, which is a huge one, malnutrition, and a lot of people live their entire lives not knowing, not feeling right, and not getting a diagnosis until they're 50, and then they adhere to a gluten-free diet, which is the only cure. There is no other cure. The only cure is to follow the diet guidelines, and it's a lifelong commitment. And you can choose to not do it, but you're choosing a life of illness, really, because it just damages your immune system, and then you get sick from several other factors. Like Garrett, I literally couldn't take him. Yes.
So as long as you stay away from the gluten, you pretty well are symptom free.
You are symptom free. As long as you are 100% gluten-free, you are symptom-free.
And is the gluten products much more expensive than your?
They are. They are. It's about double price. Like a loaf of bread, I think it's about 12 pieces of bread. In the frozen food section, it's about $6. A thing of waffles is about $5. So the price is increased. And for Garrett too, he's on soy milk, and that's about $5 for a gallon of soy milk. So I mean, the price is increased, but to live without the symptoms and to not be ill is
And there's no meds that will
there's
help these symptoms,
No.
not the symptoms,
there's nothing to help them but the
disease
diet.
itself.
That's it.
Just the diet.
Just the diet. That's 100%. I mean, quote unquote cure. You can live symptom free as long as you follow the diet. And Garrett was 3 months after the diagnosis in a 100% gluten free diet. He was symptom free. He still has problems now, just with the throat, growing and stuff. He's smaller, but other than that, he's symptom free.
So what about at school? Do they have a gluten-free diet for
They
them
do
at
not.
school?
I provide all of his meals. I have through daycare and everything else. I'm just so scared that cross contamination and that stuff that I always just provided his meals. The school did go to having a lactose free milk product for him this year, but up to this point, that's the first that they've done. So that stuff frightens me. But let's see. So for today, I brought you guys recipes for. It's actually a pizza crust recipe that's gluten free, and there are Pizza Hut in some locations does offer a gluten free pizza. There is a pizza chain in Omaha, a restaurant that has gluten free and vegan pizzas that you can purchase. And I also brought in some Oreos that are gluten free for you guys to try. And
Is there a difference in the taste of?
there is a difference in the taste. It is an acquired taste, but for like Garrett, he's never known anything different, so it doesn't bother him. It doesn't. Actually, it's a much healthier lifestyle. He gets more fruits and vegetables than the average child because that's something that he can have, and it's easy and it's readily available. So, and I think that's it. Any more questions?
How do they do the biopsy?
It's done under anesthesia, a general anesthesia, and they do use an endoscope and then do it that way and then biopsy it. And it was about a week for the test results to come back.
Does insurance cover that then, or is that
They
something
did.
that?
Our insurance did, yes.
You had your son tested?
No. And that's a doctor preference. My doctor will not do it. He told me that I can't live in fear that every child that I have will have that. So, no.
So how do you're breastfeeding?
Well, he eats more products and he actually hasn't had any. He's pretty much been gluten free too, to be honest with you, but we have done other products. So, anything else?